Coming up, the Nationals and Diamondbacks get late wins. This is Locked On Game to Game MLB.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. Local experts join us to recap all of the action for you across Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. Christian Walker's second home run of the night sent the Diamondbacks from down a run to up a run, and Arizona got a win in Colorado. Locked On Rockies tells us how they lost it late.
Well, it was a winnable series for the Rockies, but things fall apart. The Colorado Rockies unable to hold on to leads in back-to-back games. Even though they provide some fireworks and get some big home runs from their young guys, they drop two in a row to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Paul Holden here from the Locked On Rockies podcast. It's a path of inconsistency this year for the Rockies, and especially since their hot start in the second half, and at some points early on in the season they've shown some good stretches, but this team hasn't really been able to put together solid stretches of baseball. There's things to be encouraged by some young Rockies in the future of the Colorado Rockies from their performances from this series, but you're just kind of sitting there with feeling a little deflated, a little worn out, and a little bummed that the Rockies weren't able to overcome the hiccups and issues and be able to shut the door and win ball games where they had strengths and got performances in areas they haven't in all of the parts of the season. They lacked in others. It's been kind of the scene for the Rockies. We're breaking it all down right here on Locked On Rockies.
Rookie Andrew Abbott won again, and TJ Friedl made some big plays in the field to lead the Reds past the Guardians. Our Locked On hosts with both teams go over the final in Cincinnati.
TJ Friedl. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And TJ Friedl has the catch of the year that then catapults the Reds into a big win over the Cleveland Guardians. Yes, the Reds did have two home runs in the fourth inning, two-run home runs that really blew the doors off this game. They were able to play a little bit of add-on in this. The offense that was non-existent in the first game showed up in a big way in game two. Andrew Abbott, not his best stuff, but he was just good enough. And the bullpen pitched pretty well. Overall, though, it was TJ Friedl. This dude absolutely should never come off the field. He should never. There's no platoon splits I want to hear about. There's nothing that should keep TJ Friedl off of the field for the Cincinnati Reds. We've got a lot to talk about, including a really weird rule that went in the favor of the Reds early on in the game. Make sure you join us on the next Locked On Reds.
This was a sloppy game. It was just a slop fest. If you're a Guardians fan, if you're a Reds fan, it was the opposite. If one flips the defense, does Cleveland win? I don't know. I can't say for sure one way or another. But TJ Friedl steals a home run away from Ramon Laureano. Cleveland gives a bunch of runs the other way. There's a chance they win if the defense flips. But the Reds had the defense. Cleveland did not. Thor, he's better than he was with the Dodgers. He is still a back-end at best starter. When Cal Quantrill is healthy, I think he is the guy who makes the most sense to move on from, right? Nice to see Gabby Arias go deep. We know he has that type of power. Just would have liked to have seen a bit of a cleaner game across the board. It's one of those you watch and you don't really enjoy any part of, but this team is still somehow hanging along, and it was one of the days where one of the non-fun starters is pitching. So make sure to check out Locked On Guardians for an in-depth take, and make sure to check out the Guardians when the good guys start.
The Astros hit 3 home runs in the first inning and finished with 12 runs against the Marlins in Miami. Locked On Astros has more after the win.
Hey there, Rachel Wellhouse here with Locked On Astros, and the Astros pummel the Marlins. They get away on a winning note. They win another series. They gained a game. The Rangers also lost 2-0, but it was Justin Verlander who got his 252nd career win. Alex Bregman was our player of the game. He was 2 for 5 today with a home run, his hardest hit ball of his career. Kyle Tucker had a home run. Chas McCormick had a home run. This was a game where everybody seemed to be getting hits. Jose Altuve 3 hits away still from 2000. He was probably saving those hits for when he comes back home on Friday to face the Mariners. So the Astros get a little bit closer to the leading Rangers, and they win their 70th game of the year. One of 5 teams and one of the favorites still to come out of the American League to go to another World Series. Stay tuned in to Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day. We'll get you caught up on all the action. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today. Become an everydayer. Go Stros.
The Athletics snapped a 6-game road losing streak and shut out the Cardinals in St. Louis on Wednesday. Locked On Cardinals tells you what went wrong for them in the loss.
No sweep for the Cardinals, who get bludgeoned by the Oakland A's 8-0 to wrap up their series. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals. And following Matthew Liberatore's greatest outing as a major leaguer against the high-powered offense of the Tampa Bay Rays, we were hoping that perhaps, just maybe, that the Cardinals had unlocked something inside the young left-hander to push his game to the next level. Wednesday night, he took a few steps back against a team that is statistically the worst offense in baseball, the Oakland Athletics. He allows 6 runs on 10 hits. He walks 3, all in just 4 1/3 innings of work. Back to the drawing board, I guess. The Cardinals missed out on some opportunities offensively. They get shut out for the 9th time this season. And on top of that, they lose Lars Nootbaar and Tommy Edman to injuries after getting hit with foul ball. So basically, just a big bag of suck on Wednesday. Adam Wainwright will take his 8th crack at career win 199 on Thursday at home against the Mets. His ERA is almost 15 over his last 7 appearances. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Coming up, Shohei Ohtani homers again in another Angels win. This is Locked On Game to Game MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by Bunches. Bunches is the place where sports fans chat. Locked On MLB group chat is on Bunches. You can go there now and connect with other baseball fans, chat about your favorite team, and keep up with the latest MLB news. So download the Bunches app today, and when you do, our friends at Bunches have featured the Locked On MLB Bunch in the Discover tab. So you can also click the link in the description or show notes to join the Locked On MLB Bunch community today. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. The Nationals hit back-to-back home runs in the 8th to take the lead for good against the Red Sox yesterday. Locked On Red Sox looks at how Boston lost things in the end.
Hi, it's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox here. Just a frustrating loss all around for Boston tonight, as they could not get the bats going at all in a 6-2 loss to the Washington Nationals. I mean, this offense is just so inconsistent. It's unbelievable. Pablo Reyes did go yard, which is awesome. He's been so fun to watch this season. I'm really glad he's still on the team. I'm excited to see his potential, but just an absolute meltdown by Garrett Whitlock in the 8th inning for the Nationals to kind of seal the deal in this one. But like I always say, just got to win series at this point. So absolutely have to win the game tomorrow and snag this series in Washington. But what an absolute frustration. The Red Sox offense just could not get anything going. So win tomorrow. That's it.
Charlie Morton struck out 10 Yankees in 6 innings on Wednesday on the way to the Braves' shutout win. Locked On Yankees tries to find an answer for New York's cold offense.
On May 30th, the Yankees were 34-23, a season-high 11 games over 500. Now, on August 16th, they're below 500 for the first time this late in the season since 1995. Congratulations, boys. You did it. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and the Yankees lost again to the Braves. They were swept out of Truist Park. This time, it was a 2-0 shutout. They were shut out in the last 2 games of the series. The offense can't do anything, only mustered 4 hits. They were all against Charlie Morton. By the way, if you're a major league pitcher and you're having issues, just face the New York Yankees. They will cure your ills. Charlie Morton had 7 walks in his last start, this time only 1, and he struck out 10. It's just the way things are going in 2023 for the Yankees. So we'll have everything you need to know about this game on the next Locked On Yankees. And, get some rest, Yankee fans. It's an off day. They need it. We need it. I need it. Everyone needs it.
Shohei Ohtani hit another home run, and then Reed Detmers didn't allow a hit until the 8th inning as the Angels shut out the Rangers. Locked On Angels recaps the LA win.
So the Angels have been terrible since the trade deadline. They haven't hit. They haven't pitched. They've just looked awful. So doesn't it make sense that on Wednesday night they would almost no-hit the Texas Rangers? Hey, everybody, it's Mike Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. Angels win 2-0 on Wednesday night, and Reed Detmers took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. The same Reed Detmers that has a 10.30 ERA in his last 6 starts. The same Reed Detmers that only went about 2 innings in his last start. This guy went out there and he shoved. He pitched well, and it was so good to see. And the Angels backed him up with 2 home runs, one from Matt Thaiss in the 9th inning, which was an add-on run, to Shohei Ohtani's home run in the 1st inning, his 42nd of the year. This game was incredible, and there was one thing that it proves about the Angels, and John and I are going to talk about it on Locked On Angels. Come and join us.
The Brewers couldn't keep the Dodgers from winning their 10th game in a row on Wednesday night, falling to Clayton Kershaw and LA. Locked On Brewers has more after they took the loss.
Hi, everybody. Chuck Freeman here at the anchor desk at Locked On Brewers. We'll be dropping the episode a little bit later on. 2 uneventful, boring, uninteresting games in Los Angeles so far. No meat and potatoes to it, and a 7-1 loss on Wednesday night. Wade Miley took the loss, didn't pitch all that great, but then the offense did your usual, kind of mailed it in tonight against, of course, they're going against Clayton Kershaw, and he got down 2-1. That was pretty much the ball game right there. They weren't going to score at that point. I just said, don't get swept in Los Angeles. Okay, I know the Dodgers are the better team, but you can't get swept in this series. You can't get swept against Texas either. So behind Burns, they need to find a way to win on Thursday night. They got to. They got to find a way to win. That's a 2-game swing. You cannot get swept on Thursday. I'm going to lose my mind if they do. We'll talk to you a little bit later on, everybody.
That's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Game to Game MLB. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. We're past the trade deadline. It's that playoff push time, so make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On MLB and your favorite team's Locked On podcast on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts from. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Game to Game.